is coming to Livingston. Santa is coming to Livingston. Well, boomed Santa. Have all the children of Livingston been good this year? Well, mostly, answered the little old elf as he bustled across the busy workshop to Santa's desk. Santa peered down at the elf from behind the tall, teetering piles of letters that the children from Livingston had sent him. Mostly, asked Santa, looking over the top of his glasses. Yes, but they've all been especially good in the last few days, said the elf. Jolly good, chuckled Santa. Then we'd better get their presents loaded up. Even though the sack of presents was really, really big and the elves were really, really small, they seemed to have no trouble loading it onto Santa's sleigh. Though how they managed to fit such a big sack onto one little sleigh, even they didn't know, but somehow they did. Splendid, boomed Santa. We're ready to go. Not quite, Santa, said the little old elf. One of our reindeer is missing. Missing? Which reindeer's missing? Asked Santa. The youngest one, Santa, said the elf. It's his first flight tonight. I've called him, but... Just then, a young reindeer strolled up munching on a large carrot. Where have you been? Asked Santa. The youngest reindeer was crunching so loudly that it was no wonder he hadn't heard the little old elf calling. Oh, well, never mind, said Santa, giving the reindeer a little wink. He took out his Santa nav and tapped in the postcode EH54 for Livingston. This will guide us to Livingston in no time. Crunch, crunch, crunch. With a flick of the reins and a jerk of the harness, off they went, racing through the sky. Ho, 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 laughed Santa. We'll soon have these presents delivered to lovely Livingston. Santa's sleigh flew through the starry night sky, heading across the North Sea. On they flew in the crisp, wintry air, crossing the coast over Leith. In the wink of an eye, the sleigh was flying above Edinburgh and on to West Lothian. The young reindeer was very excited. He had never been away from the North Pole before. They were just crossing over Harper Rig Reservoir in the Pentland Hills when suddenly they ran into a blizzard. Snowflakes whirled around the sleigh. They couldn't see a thing. The youngest reindeer was getting a bit worried, but Santa didn't seem concerned. In 2 kilometres, said the Santa nav in a bossy lady's voice. Keep left at the next star. But Madam, Santa blustered, I can't see any stars in all this snow. Soon they were hopelessly lost. Then, through the howling blizzard, the youngest reindeer heard a faint ringing sound. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. He looked over at the old reindeer with the red nose, but he had his head down. Red nose? I wonder who that could be. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. There was that sound again, like a church bell ringing. The youngest reindeer turned round to look at Santa, but Santa wasn't listening. He seemed to be arguing with a little box with buttons on it. With a flick of the harness and a jerk in the reins, the youngest reindeer gave a sharp tug and headed off towards the sound of the bell, pulling Santa and his sleigh behind him. Whoa! Cried Santa, pulling his hat straight. What's going on? Then, to his surprise, he heard a ringing sound. Well done, young reindeer, he shouted cheerfully. It must be the bell of Livingston Old Parish Church. Don't worry, children, Santa's coming. But suddenly, crunch! The sleigh hit something as it plummeted through the snow clouds. You have arrived, said the Santa nav unhelpfully. Finally, when the snow had died down and the clouds parted, Santa discovered exactly where they were, stuck right at the top of a Christmas tree in Civic Square. Everybody pull! The reindeer pulled with all their might, and at last, with a screeching noise, the sleigh scraped clear of the centre, and Santa steered them safely along the River Amond, above the crooked rooftops of Livingston Village, past Almond Valley Heritage Centre, across Elyburn Reservoir and down into Elyburn Park. Luckily, there was no real damage done, but the parcels had all been jumbled up. Santa quickly sorted the presents into order again. Right, said Santa. Thanks to this young reindeer, I know where we are now. Don't worry, children, Santa is coming. Santa drove his sleigh expertly from rooftop to rooftop all over Livingston, popping in and out of chimneys as fast as he could, which was pretty fast for a chubby chap. There were big chimneys in Bell's Quarry and small chimneys in Livingston Village. He squeezed down thin chimneys in Polbeth and plummeted down fat chimneys in Addywell. The youngest reindeer was amazed at how quickly they went. Santa never seemed to get tired at all, and it looked like the children in Livingston were going to be very lucky this year. But the youngest reindeer was starting to feel a bit weary and quite hungry too. In house after house, Santa delved inside his sack for parcels of every shape and size. He piled them under the Christmas trees and carefully filled up the stockings with surprises. In house after house, the good children of Livingston had left out a large mince pie, a glass of something, and a big crunchy carrot. Santa took a little bite out of each mince pie, a tiny sip of something, wiped his beard and popped the carrots into his sack. From Craigshill to East Calder, from Deans to Stonyburn, from West Calder to Muirston, and all the places in between, Santa and his sleigh visited every house in Livingston and West Lothian. Santa delivered presents to Alfie, Ava, Ben, Brooke, Charlie, Chloe. The list went on and on. Zach, Zara, Sybil. Finally, Santa had delivered the last present on his long West Lothian list. Great moons and stars, sighed Santa. It's past midnight and my sack seems as heavy as ever. I hope I haven't forgotten anyone. Santa opened his sack to check, but it was full of crunchy carrots. Santa shared out the carrots among all the reindeers. Well done, lad, he said, patting the youngest reindeer gently on the nose. But the youngest reindeer didn't hear him. He was too busy munching. Then it was time to set off for home. Santa reset his Santa nav for the North Pole, and soon they were speeding above Livingston Football Stadium, over Cairn Papal Hill and towards B. Craig's Country Park through the crisp, starry night. Ho, 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 laughed Santa. Merry Christmas, Livingston, and Merry Christmas to all of you.